During World War II, not all battles were fought with guns, tanks and planes. Some of the most decisive moments actually unfolded in quiet towns, occupied cities, and even inside ordinary homes. Espionage became a daily threat. Every family knew that one careless word or one unsecured room could hand the enemy information that, honestly, might cost lives. Out of necessity, ordinary people developed extraordinary techniques to keep their homes and information safe from spies. What is remarkable is how many of those counter-espionage tricks remain just as useful today, whether for privacy, home defense, or simply safeguarding your family in uncertain times. If you've ever wondered how civilians in wartime kept secrets under the watchful eyes of enemies, well, you'll find the answers here. One of the most overlooked yet powerful defences during World War II was the strict management of conversations. Families in occupied Europe, from France to Poland, often lived with neighbours whose loyalties were, frankly, uncertain. Spies thrived on overheard words. That's why, many households developed what they called neutral zones. These were rooms, often kitchens or living rooms, where only harmless conversations were allowed. Any mention of military movements, ration deliveries or resistance contacts was, reserved for private areas such as cellars, attics, or even outdoor walks in fields where ambient noise made eavesdropping harder. Applying this today is honestly quite straightforward. In any home where sensitive topics are discussed, be it financial matters, survival planning or private family issues, designating a neutral talk space ensures information never leaks unintentionally. Just as wartime families avoided mentioning supply drops in their kitchen, modern families can decide never to discuss important matters near windows, phones, or devices that could be compromised. During the war, many households employed simple but effective physical barriers to keep intruders or informants from wandering into private areas. A common trick in occupied Paris was to leave a visible obstacle, like a broom or chair, leaning against a door that should remain private. It looked innocent, but anyone entering would have to move it, immediately alerting the household that someone had stepped into a restricted area. In some homes, carpets sprinkled lightly with flour or sand revealed footprints if an outsider crossed the threshold. Even today, this concept of layered barriers has practical value. Something as simple as keeping a latch on a door, leaving a telltale object across a passage, or maintaining a subtle indicator like gravel on a pathway can alert you if someone has been snooping. It requires no technology, only awareness, and it remains one of the most reliable ways to detect intrusion without raising suspicion. Concealment of critical items was often, more effective than locks. Locks could be picked or broken, and during the Second World War, many spy networks relied on bribed locksmiths to bypass them. Ordinary families knew better than to place their trust solely in a key. Instead, they became masters of concealment. False-bottom drawers, hollowed-out books, and even loose bricks in fireplaces became hiding places for documents, radios, and food ration cards. In Warsaw, resistance members famously disguised their shortwave radios inside wooden bread boxes, just leaving them on kitchen shelves where German soldiers would never bother to look. This lesson really applies directly to modern homes. Instead of keeping your valuables in those predictable safes or, obvious hiding spots, it's actually much more effective to disperse and disguise them. For instance, important documents might be stored inside a sealed tin in your pantry, while spare cash could be hidden beneath flooring boards rather than, say, a desk drawer. The World War II principle was honestly quite simple. Make the most important items blend seamlessly into the ordinary. Spies and informants, more often than not, gathered intelligence not through direct infiltration, but by observing patterns. A lit window at unusual hours, a sudden gathering of visitors, or, well, even unusual noises could all betray a family's activities. That's why blackout curtains became more than just protection from air raids. They were also, counter-espionage tools. By eliminating telltale light, households were able to conceal meetings, planning sessions, and even secret storage. Likewise, resistance families kept strict routines, doors closed at regular times, meals taken at expected hours, and, well, noise reduced during sensitive discussions. Modern parallels are, well, really quite striking. A spy-proof home today is one that avoids broadcasting too much information through visible routines, drawing curtains consistently, limiting loud conversations when discussing important matters, and, making sure that household patterns do not suddenly shift without cause. All of these echo those wartime disciplines. Just as in 1942, discretion is honestly one of the most effective defences. One of the most dangerous mistakes during the war was giving every family member equal access to sensitive knowledge. Resistance fighters often kept children and elderly relatives in the dark, not out of mistrust, but simply because interrogation or accidental slips could expose everyone. Instead, households practiced compartmentalization. Different members knew only what they needed to know. If captured or questioned, they could only reveal partial information at best. This principle is as valuable now as it was then. Within a modern family or even among survival groups, not everyone needs access to every password, safe code or piece of information. Assigning knowledge selectively reduces risk. Just as wartime families divided responsibility, one member guarding documents, another handling food storage, today's households can decide who holds specific roles, ensuring that no single person carries all the critical details. Though technology has changed, human behaviour has not. During the Second World War, a spy could be a neighbour, a shopkeeper, or a casual visitor who, well, overheard too much. These days, the threat may come from digital surveillance, burglars, or even nosy acquaintances. What remains constant is the need to safeguard information, property, and family safety. Cardboard barriers, concealed radios, and blackout curtains may belong to another era, but the logic behind them, control access, conceal what matters, and discipline routines, works in every generation. If history teaches anything, it's that ordinary people can outwit even the most determined adversaries with practical measures. The spy-proof home was not built with expensive equipment, but with awareness, discipline, and creativity. Those same principles can be applied today, turning any household into a place where privacy and security are protected. For more history-driven strategies and forgotten lessons that remain useful, subscribe to In the Beginning and share this guide with others who value the practical wisdom of the past. The tricks of World War II counter-espionage were never meant to stay locked in history. They are lessons meant to be lived, adapted and, well, kept alive.